Naz said to me, as soon as I was told I was going to play Kino, was that he wanted to have 100 different hairstyles. Kino. He wanted Kino to be very specific about the way he wanted to look. He wanted to look deadly, but in a kind of a more original way, like than an East End gangster type thing, which we see, we get fucking rammed down our throats all the time. You know, all these kind of skinhead hard nuts with sunglasses, and it's always so kind of shite and blasé and just cliched. And then so the style, I mean, most of the clothes were kind of cast members' clothes, but it's always something a bit different, a bit kind of more stylish, more. As I said, he obviously thought about it, and the hair. There were some mad hairstyles.
Must have lost the plot. Thought he was doomed. Stupid bastard.
Kino's gang was always really great. It felt like every kind of member of the gang had their role. He had Kino, he was like in charge of the gang, and they all looked up to him. They were all really frightened of him. And then as the film kind of goes on, that kind of breaks up a bit, and you had each character filled their role perfectly as well. You had Rats. I mean, he's called Rats. He is a rat. He's Kino's little bitch. He tells things to Kino, and he's got his own kind of. They've all got their own individual style as well, and Rat's style is one of my favourites. It's so interesting and different.
Can I see?
Yeah, Rats will show you. Rats, who the fuck told you to laugh like that? You want to come down here and put some lipstick on?
And then you've got Dwayne's character, Prince, and he's just a muscle. He's Kino's muscle, and Kino, you know, he's not. No, I'm not a big guy. I'm not kind of a huge, really muscular guy. There's not much of me, but there is a lot of Prince. And for some reason, Kino's got this power over Prince. He'll say, "Go and do that," and Prince says, "Okay, I'll go and do that." He's the muscle. He's the brawn.
The phone. Take it out.
And then you've got the two girls who they're just like, they're Kino's bitches. That's how he sees them. They're his two girls who he gets off with when he wants, and when he needs to, when he needs to clear his head, he just know he can put in a phone call and have them there. And so they all had their role for Kino, but they all had kind of important roles in the film as well.
No. I know what you think, but it's fine. I do it all the time. Kaz, tell him I do it all the time.
He does it all the time.
Renice's character, she is the slag of the group, really. She, I think, the way I looked at her character was that her background, yeah, she's quite fucked up, like. She's been through quite, I think I've put it so that she was abused a bit in the past and that, and she just wants attention, really. That's all she wants, like. And with Kino, she really, like, with Kaz there as well, like, she thinks Kino likes Kaz a little bit better, I think, and Renice is sort of treated like shit, but she's I think she's sort of punishing herself over and over again. That's her way of dealing with her problems, like, really.
Well, come on then, what are you waiting for? Christmas, get it out.
What?
Your cock.
Whenever I've kind of worked on other projects, you just get the script. Sometimes, you get so little rehearsal as well. You don't get to enjoy the characters at all. You get to play them for maybe 10 minutes, and you go and sit in a trailer for 4 hours, and then you come out and play for another 10 minutes. Whereas with kind of the way Transit Film Exchange works, they got us in for like a good 3 weeks before we even started filming, and we'll be rehearsing every day, and just a lot of the stuff we did, was never used. It was never intended to be used. It was just about kind of developing the character and developing the story and developing the kind of the lines and the kind of relationships between the cast and the actual characters as well. And so that was new for me as well. That was something that I hadn't seen before, and something that kind of it was such a kind of positive experience. There was never anyone kind of bringing us down, going, "Oh, we can't do this," or "This is shit," or "Oh, I'm fucking tired, I'm hungry." It was always a case of, this is fun, let's do it. And the filming, as with any filming, it got hard. I remember our last day of filming, we was out kind of on the balconies of the estate until 4 in the morning. We'd been working for 12 hours, and we were doing the chase scene, and it was like very knackering, but it always felt like it was worth it. There was never, even then, it was me and Zephyrin and Naz and Ash and cameraman Ragsy, and none of us were saying, "Oh, this is shit, oh, I want to go home, oh, I'm tired."
On ends, on a lower scale, you get people from different parts of London, and you get conflict
But this time, you know, everything was unified, and that was a good thing about it, because you started getting different colours. Everyone put their little 2 pence in, 3 pence in, you know, and it was a big energy. And once you come together as a team, regardless of money, you can make something beautiful, man. This particular project, I gave so much to it because I believed in it. And it was a different type of film. It had style, it had charisma. And I've seen a lot, I'm not downplaying a lot of films that's been out lately, or young, you know, urban, you know, series that come on, but a lot of them aren't real to what's going on in council estates.
I think a lot of people I know would like to see like to see Flashmob because it's something different. Like at the moment, the only outlet you've got for people our age is stuff like Skins, where they're all kind of typical cliche indie kids, or you've got kidulthood and adulthood, where again typical cliche kind of gangster. They live on estates, but it's all kind of it's nothing new. And then you've got West 10 LDN, this other kind of big thing that young people are in that they're raving about. And again, it's like just set on an estate, and it's kind of all about drugs and kind of prostitution, and no one looks new or interesting.
Easily a black person could have played Keno, you know, the outlaw, the controller of this gang. You know, it's the little stereotypes that come across in films, and it's stupid. You know, when you have the same in like The Bill. You always got the urban kids being the bad boys. What about the suburban kids? They do the same reckless things. So in that sense, I was saying it's nice that this film played against the odds, and it made it unique in that sense. Because you got Keno being played by this. When we first saw Liam, he was a surfer dude.
All these kind of casting directors have no imagination whatsoever. They're really, really boring, and like I used to go for auditions. I went for auditions for like The Bill and Casualty, and like so big stations like ITV Granada, the BBC, places that I'd go to, and all the characters would always be really dull. They see a character who's a victim, and then they say, okay, we need a guy with long hair, or a guy who looks a bit indie or a bit emo or something like that. And it's not about the acting; it's about the looks entirely. And then Transient Film Exchange come in and they say, we like the actor. We want to work with the actor and kind of what's in there rather than what's on the surface.
This film is ahead of its time because you got young people, yeah, actually making what they want to make, and it's not someone writing a script for them that's like out in the country talking about inner city youth. Yeah, it's about us telling our own story and recreate this story. We make it real, yeah, because we are real. This is where we come from. There's a market for that. That market is tapping into the youth. Yeah, and you're tapping into the youth and telling their story, because we're looked upon as hoodies. Yeah, we're not hoodies, we're young people, and we're the next generation. We're coming up and we're going to be spearheading this country in time to come, you know? We change things. Young people change things. And I think people are afraid of that. People are afraid of change. But this change is actually showing the rest of the world you can't fool people anymore. You have to make it real, and you have to use people from those environments to bring out the best and bring out the truth. And you can't have some guy from Yorkshire. You can't have some guy from Surrey writing about people from council estates in West London. It don't work.
The kids gained a lot from the Flashmob project. They learnt a lot about acting, and their skills as performers really developed. They didn't turn into thespian-style performers. They became performers who had a real integrity because they'd learned about things they cared about, and they were expressing issues that were close to them. A number of them also got involved in the crew and learning how to make films, editing and filming and storyboarding. Those sorts of skills were not the kind that they'd had access to before, particularly given that a lot of them were disadvantaged and were living on council estates and didn't have a lot of access to film companies.
Instead of me just kind of turning into another number in Dagenham and another little figure, another little mannequin, it means that I could actually kind of make something and spend some time doing something actually interesting and worthwhile.
If I didn't do Flashmob, I think probably, I don't know, it'd be quite a low life, to be honest, because I wouldn't have anything to do. That's the only thing I really see as like, that is my aim in life, is to act, sort of thing. If I wasn't, I'd probably be claiming benefits and that.
Working on Flashmob has taught me about professionalism, about how a film should be done, how it should be made.
Flashmob, like doing that, it's I've got myself an agent and that, she really liked it. She thinks I've got quite a bit of potential and hopefully I'll be getting some work out of that.
Because it was an independent film, we had ownership over it and we could move it any way we want, you know? And we could tell our story. And we wasn't, you know, looked upon as from these big high execs that are above us telling us, okay, you have to do it this way because it won't sell like that. And you have to tap into this market and da-da-da-da-da. But we believe that there is a market for this film and it's a young, urban market, yeah? And for young people from council estates. When was the last time you seen a film about council estates? A real film about council estates and young people living on these estates, yeah? And this kid did this film, it don't even give you all of what's going on. There's more to it. So imagine if we started to bring out the real grittiness of not even the realness, but more of the realness of what's going on in these council estates.
No one ever kind of asks the cast's opinion or the cast to kind of incorporate what they want into the film. It was always a case of, you know, here's your script, you do this. Whereas how TFE did it was, they'd get us in and they'd say, I remember, you know, a lot of times they'd be setting up a shot and NASA says to me, what do you think of this shot? And I've never done any directing. That was, you know, and that was entirely new. That was something that I felt I could be a lot more of a part of. And we always had this idea that what we was doing was something really new and interesting, and we just couldn't wait to see the end product. And it helped that kind of all the cast was so great as well. I get on very, very well with Zephyrin and Joanna, and all the kind of the crew as well. Everyone, it was like we was all in it together, and we was all doing something really, really cool, and like something that we all wanted to be a big part of. And we knew it was going to go somewhere where we was at the end of it. We had something to be proud of.